really have the work in front of them. They've staged one almighty comeback at VFL Park against Richmond. The third quarter, though, could see them in a position that makes it even harder for them to come back in the last, so they want to do it now. O'Dwyer in ruck for Melbourne, Manson for Collingwood. And it's the Magpies trailing, going from left to right. And Manson wins the first tap, but it's Healy for Melbourne. Now Johnson. And it's the Demons into attack for the first time in the quarter. Lyon beaten by Shaw, but look, he's got finally some support. Brown gets the handball back there towards Turner. Jamie Turner for Collingwood towards half forward. Good use of the body by Hughes there. And it goes over the boundary line. Throw in. Getting around towards the forward pocket for the Magpies. No score yet in the third quarter. Cloak in ruck for the Black and Whites.
And the Black and Whites are behind by 38 points, and it's Cloak versus O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer has the bigger leap, but it's going nowhere this time. And this is Brown, who's caught twice there. Nice tap on by Cloak to Rosonico. And then young Ryan, almost around the shoulder of the Banks. Handball across to Hughes, and the Demons are off the hook once more. And number 23 is Dean, and he's been a great player out on either wing. Cleverly backing towards stretch, though, but Mullane read it better. But there's a kick going Dean's way. He was held, didn't have possession, and takes a kick on the halfback flank.
Warren Dean, 8th kick, spent some time in the bench in the second term after being winded. Handball out from Atkins to Shaw. Ryan against number 8 Yates. Melbourne player content to see it go over the boundary line. Magpies just into their attacking half. Spectators shielding their eyes with hands and programs. As a chance for Cloak this time, O'Dwyer slips over, but it's stretch for Melbourne. And he really does outstretch the opposition as he goes through half-back. Kick just a little high for Bailey, but behind the pack it's Wilson. Thought about handballing to Dean. Thought about another option out wider there. Now passes instead for the skipper Flower. Lachlan on the mark. There'll be Flower coming up for kick number 7.
And he's kicked 3 goals for Melbourne in his comeback game. And Manson, the hope of the Collingwood side. The other hope, Brian Taylor. These two kicked 4 each last week against the Bears. Taylor's demoted to the bench. He's had 1 kick, 1 mark and 1 handball, and he may see out the game on the bench. O'Dwyer and Cloak, good battle, lost sight of it. Spalding back to Flower. Polished performer, this fellow. It's lovely to see a man of these skills. A delight to the crowd. Yates. Manson again, climbed over Wilson's back and could just be about to rule that mark, yes. His hands touched it first.
And there's a very disconsolate Brian Taylor. Looks like he's got an ill-fitting robe on there. He's probably never had to wear it on the boundary line before. Kick built by Mullane. Gets some shepherding from Gaffer. Mullane back inboard to Kroll. He goes for Gaffer. Boundary line wins out. Collingwood really struggling, John.
Yes, they really are. And also the Melbourne pressure is forcing them out wide, and they just stop-start football. They try and get it running, but they just haven't got the ability to do so at the moment.
Cloak again. Oh, a knock on by Bailey. Wilson again on the handball from stretch. Manson in front of Giles, and he's taken 2 telling marks in the last minutes. And obviously he's been given a rev up. 3, in fact. Running around from the back line. It's Brown across to Paul Moore. Oh, gee, he's been quiet.
Around Johnson. He goes for Turner. He's got 2 to beat. Turner beats them. Does it well. Crowd call ball, the Demon fans. Knock on from Turner. Here's a chance. Ryan tried to get it back there to Rosonico. They stood all over him. Oh, Turner, great work. He's done it single-handed, Jamie Turner. Great tackle on Payne, and he's been rewarded, the Collingwood sentiment. Just 4 to the wing. Melbourne favoured here. Very strong mark taken by Earl Spaulding. A consummate defender, this young fellow, been very impressive. Kicks for Johnson, but instead Christian the mark.
Collingwood have no doubt lifted in this third quarter. They're playing more positive football. Their big men are taking the ball more often. Ryan has kicked 3 goals, kicked the total goal score for Collingwood in the second quarter, and that mark across to Dennis Banks. Big kick required from Banks now. He's going for it as well. And the Demons just run back, and it's a raffle. Stephen Stretch said, or Danny Hughes said to Stretch, it's your mark. And he did it. And a 15-metre penalty. Bit of a juggle on here with a handball. Healy's been a strong player. Great rover today, in fact. And he puts it over the line out on the halfback flank.
We've played 5 minutes, no score yet in this term. Lee Matthews, well, what can he do? Hoping that they can lift and finish it off with goals. They need more work like that from Brown. Starcevic behind Hughes, but roving Mullane. Through he goes, through the eye of the needle. Can he cap it off? He can! Darren Mullane, skillful, brings up his first goal. Yes, say the Collingwood fans. They need plenty more like it, but this was inspirational.
Yes, breaking clear, balking a couple of times in the snapshot, which was good, but it still doesn't augur all that well because Collingwood are relying on an individual effort by Mullane. They relied a couple of minutes ago by an individual effort by Jamie Turner, but they're just not teaming and running enough as a team. They just can't rely on the single ones.
Did heat the centre bounce. Manson doing the ruck work now, and he's injected something here. Here's Batterson. No, but nice. Didn't come up on. Bailey wasn't ready for it. Tony Short had a quiet day for Collingwood. And Paul Morwood's hardly had a touch. Kicks the ball and straight to a Demon. Spalding, and that's poor play by Morwood. Should have known and could have done better than that. And he swings play out to the man on the wing, and it's Wilson. He knew Stretch was stretching out on that back, and it's a delightful kick to Williams. A beautiful pass. Gaver had no chance there.
David Williams, 60 metres out from goal. 2 or 3 leads offering. They all went at once, so he goes with the torpedo punt right up into the goal square. Off hands, Wight, goal. Yes, that was through. It was not a very good performance from a man used to a round ball and the soccer skills, but he did fumble it over with the boot. Second for Sean Wight, and that one's answered pretty quickly by the Demons.
Yes, he was trying to pick it up, but he thought better of it. Just touched it, but a valuable entering goal. And certainly that will, if unless Collingwood can get the next goal, it'll make them more disillusioned.
A goal each in this third quarter in 7 minutes. Paul Payne. Here's a juggle here for Healy again, delightful at the back, and he runs on. Wilson's magic today. He's back to his Brownlow medal form. It's not a bad kick to Wight. Well, Robbie Flower's got him. I thought that someone put a hand on that, but obviously they didn't. This Flower did come from behind. And probably the most popular player at Melbourne in years. Is running in to kick his 4th goal. And he's kicked his 4th goal. Good effort, Robbie Flower. They really love you down here.
Yes, watching Brian Wilson balking and trying to beating that extra man all the time. Yes, watching the replay. It certainly looked like it may have been a mark, unless the Collingwood man may have had his hand on it, but still effort, control, and certainly 2 goals to Melbourne at the 8-minute mark, stretching their lead a little bit more.
Well, the mark's been shown twice on the electronic scoreboard, and a standing ovation for the mark from the Melbourne crowd as O'Dwyer gets them away. Bradbury leaves it behind. He's got support from Gafer. Bradbury over the centre, towards centre half forward. Behind the pack, Brinter for Melbourne. Banks shepherds off for Cloak. He then handballs it through Atkins. Handball wrestled forward, but it's Spalding. Long handball to Johnson. Alan Johnson spearing pass towards Wight. Hands on it. Down it goes for Lyon. He's missed. Well, if they kick truly, they could just about be back in the showers now, Melbourne, and Collingwood still wouldn't catch them.
That's a good player in Brown, one of the younger fellows. Had a good season with them. Kick out towards the defending flank. Strong kick the big fellow makes. I think that's his 4th mark for the quarter. play on. Collingwood coming to the centre now. Atkins, the chance, knocked away by Batterston. Alan Johnson playing. Gets a free kick for pushing the back. He really played for it. Collingwood players, everyone else but they knew. Plays on quickly. Big fellow O'Dwyer. Oops. Stood on it. Lost it. Ryan, a good player. 3 goals to him. Brown. Christian on the centre. Oh, he slipped away then. It was good play by the big fellow. And Taylor on the field. He lumbers after it. And he's taken his 2nd mark of the game.
And don't the crowd let him know. Brian Taylor too far out to score. Play on now. He's gone around too far. He's gained 10 metres. He could go close here. The distance was there. Accuracy wasn't. Behind for Taylor. Is that his first score of the day? It is.
First score.
His team trail by 44 points. And we've played 10, coming up to 11 minutes here in the 3rd quarter.
Hughes kick out. Easily marked by Bailey. The Demons have more than double Collingwood's score. It's 85 to 41. And Wilson's having a good match for Melbourne. Well, I just say that to the guy. I'm sorry, Brian. I mossed you.
You should know better than that by now, Leakey.
Yes, it was a careless kick. I think probably it's a kick which happens when you get a fairway in front and you get a bit confident things are going too well, and it was just a sloppy kick.
Gafer from the wing into a huge pack of players. Hughes, no, it's Brinto. Just a little shorter than Danny Hughes, but no less of a defender.
In front again, though. It's Melbourne defenders seem to be in front most of the time.
It's a comedy of errors at the moment. Morwood picked out beautifully by Grinter. He centres the ball now, Morwood. Up high was Spalding on the ground. Grinter put hands down, kick off the ground by Brown. He's got it underneath his body. And another one attempted by Wilson. And that's been a trend this year, the boots flying and very few kicking in dangers paid. Very tired looking Brian Wilson, hands it back to the umpire. Bounce on half forward for Collingwood.
Whoop. Big fellow Dwyer beats Cloak. He can't really get off the ground. Oh, Yates, nicely. Bannister swims around Morwood. Quick look over the shoulder. Flower in front of him. No, it's Lyon this time. Flowers further in front again. The kick, lovely. Alan Johnson, the wingman. And that's evidence of Melbourne's running power as they get the ball from the centre and they have runners, more than 1 or 2. And Johnson hasn't had a great match. But nevertheless, it's his 9th kick for number 9. And he could quite easily kick this goal. The distance shouldn't be a worry to him from 40 metres. It'll be his first. He didn't allow for that. Won't make the distance. That was Flower. His keys for the Pies. And Yates for the Demons.
Graham Yates has had a good match. 9th kick coming up. Melbourne players left on their own. Wight arrives a little late. Shaw. High kick. Back it goes to Yates. Well, he'll do it over again. The pass wasn't quite long enough for Wight. So there making position is Dean. You could see all that in shot. Collingwood players didn't. They didn't pick up Dean. Now he'll kick from 50 metres for goal. Found the big opening once. Not long enough. Manson has it knocked away from him. Brown will have to chase off after it as he's let Williams in here. That's over. And spotted by the boundary umpire, who's in perfect position. 14 minutes gone. 44 points. It's a pretty lacklustre 3rd quarter.
Melbourne have increased their scoring margin. 38 it was at the start of the quarter. Williams been an active player on the forward line. And that's just about on the grass, but it's a mark to Robbie Flower. And that would be a top end of the ground to play on a beautiful day. It's like finals weather, of course, and all the Demon supporters are at this end, the Richmond end. Robbie's 9th kick. He's kicked 4 goals. Now it's 5. It's certainly one of Melbourne's best. Coupling up with maybe Wilson and who else? John from Melbourne playing well.
Oh yes, Healy set the Demons going. Wilson's been magnificent, and Flower with his 5 goals certainly has been a magnificent captain. But to me, that started back probably 30 seconds before that, when the ball was in the goal square. The Collingwood defenders probably should have pushed it through for a point, even though they are that far behind, to give them some breathing space, but they bring it round and boundary throw in a quick snap, and Flower capitalises.
Talked about a beautiful day in September. Perhaps the Demons fans and the team are practicing for it. Knock on from Johnson. Well, Collingwood here. It's Lockman. Beautiful smother. Johnson feeds it on for Williams. He's got 4 men asking for it. He goes to Wilson. He'll go right up to the line. Oh, tried to keep it too low and Keys in the way. Then Bradbury over the line. Well, Wilson again just a little casual about that. That's Patterson.
Yes, well, he does like kicking goals.
Yes, the only thing he did wrong there, or everything else, he didn't kick it high enough. That's Sean White to Melbourne, the ruckman. Batterston, a blind kick. He's kicked it behind. So Melbourne with a big margin of 51 points. He was on a go, about to tread onto the turf.
We're trying to work out something as Brown puts it back into play for Collingwood. In the direction of Manson. Dwyer couldn't quite hold it. Shaw. Throw, says the umpire. Everything going against them. Jamie Turner it was penalised, and Johnson has the free kick. Goes long. Right up to the goal line. In comes Wight. Puts a shove on. Knock away by Keys. Lockman leaves it for Ryan. Tackled. Finally gets it to Morwood. Back to Gaffer. Gaffer for Collingwood. Along the outer wing and finds teammate Bradbury. Bradbury with plenty of green turf in front of him. Faked the handball. Put down by Williams. Right on kicking and the mark taken by Brinter. Back behind play. There's a wrestle on the wing. I think it's after that shove on kicking, actually. But Williams is wrestling with Bradbury, who thought incensed. That one didn't travel far.
The umpire's not even concerned. It's the second time today. Bozonico's got it, and those 2 players. There's another one joined them now. The threesome at this stage now. An umpire runs over as Collingwood going to attack. Taylor takes another mark here. And Danny Hughes must think he's a bit...
It's a tug of war, only they don't have a rope.
They're having their own little go there. Well, back with Brian Taylor. He started the quarter, this third quarter, on the bench, looking very unhappy with himself after having a few touches, a kick, a mark and a handball, and no score. But he marked and he's kicked it behind so far. He'll get his behind kicked if he misses this.
Are you going to do it?
I won't.
You're big enough. What's wrong with you?
I'm weak. 2 behinds to Taylor. And he and Manson kicked 4 goals each last week against the Bears.
Manson hasn't scored this week as Hughes puts it back into play. Wilson uses his body well. He'll have to touch it though. He doesn't, so Collingwood will get the free. Shaw goes towards half forward. Ricochet goes to Patterson. Towards the wing from Bailey. Gathered nicely by Healy. Handball to Johnson. He's been in everything in this quarter. Towards half forward. Mark taken there by Dean. Wheels onto the right boot. Lovely pass right onto the chest of White. What delivery from Warren Dean. And a confident lead from White, and he capped it off with a goal. And Lee Matthews really just an onlooker.
I think Lee would rather be out in the sun somewhere. That's typical, though, of the pass from Dean to White, because the Melbourne forwards have been in front many more times than what they're Collingwood at the other end.
Well, Dean has his pass capped off with a goal by Sean White, his 3rd, and the Demons doing it very easily now. They lead by some 56 points, and we've played 20 minutes into this 3rd quarter.
Well, their scoring rate, well, look again at this kick from Dean. It had a little bend on it. It was the right measurements, and White was really charging at the ball. Melbourne's scoring rate's been good. 4 goals in the first quarter, 6 in the second quarter, and 4 in 90 minutes in this 3rd term. Doing it well. Another tap out with a big fellow. Is Bailey over the top. Good understanding by the Demons. This fella's had a good match in Yates. No one after him at all. What's the purpose anyway? They won't catch him, and it's swung from right to left. And it's a behind. Hit by the backman. Yates.
And just some words there for Atkins, who's minding him as away goes Brown from full back. Trying to move play up this member's wing. Turner did everything but hold it. Johnson, very quick hands. Bounce wasn't good for Williams. Here's Turner again for Collingwood. Handball's off to Lockman. He goes to a Melbourne player. It looked almost deliberate as Batterson finds Giles. Giles can kick the ball a long way. He'll need to here. Over 50. He puts it up to the edge of the square instead. Flower or Wight? Flower, I think, being penalised, or Wight. They both look at one another. Did you do anything wrong? No, I don't think so. Perhaps it was you. Anyway, Collingwood have the free.
Yes, they're both waiting for each other to fly for the ball.
Well, Gaither kicks out to 3 of his teammates out there, but see how Batterson's waiting for the loose ball, doing everything right. Big man, small man plan there. That's how that's out at the moment. Turner comes on the field to replace the big fellow O'Dwyer, who's played well on the ruck.
Taken by Healy out of the air. On to Stretch. Stretch towards the goal square, looking for a fly from Flower. No, it was White, in fact. Fed out by Kroll. Rosonico caught well by Dean. Goes loose to Lyon. Pressure. Healy handballs back. Morwood. Swinging play. Collingwood attempting to do that on all occasions. Shaw can give it back to Turner. Jamie Turner now with the run up the wing, but the feet failing. Back to Shaw he goes. Collingwood being pushed backwards. Giles the tackle on Shaw. Straight to Bailey. Bailey from the boundary line. Improves the angle and threads it through. No, not long enough. I thought it was...
He was hoping it would go through, Peter. Yes, he did everything right, didn't he?
Accuracy certainly there, but just forgot to put that extra bit of oomph in it.
Collingwood are really under pressure. The ball on their back line all the time now as Melbourne just pressure, just pushing it home all the time. Look at Quintus, great thump away. Oops, this is Williams. Quickly gets it off to Batterson. The runners everywhere. Not this time. Lyon's in a bit of trouble and chips it on. Gwinter again, the tough man, right up in the air. Now there's only one Collingwood man. He should take it. He has, and it's key. Is it? No, it's Manson, of course. That's about his 5th or 6th mark of the quarter.
Kroll for Collingwood. Again, they try and make something up this member's wing. Arriving Grinter too late. The mark or early rather, but they're right on time. Wilson.
17th kick for Wilson.
Very cool, Brian Wilson. Working out which option to go for. Goes along with the torpedo punt. Too long for White and Keys marks. Oh, it's really slow motion stuff here at the moment. Collingwood desperately trying to get out of defence. Now some speed from Keys towards the centre. Looking there for Bradbury. Good mark. Pushes off Grinter. Gets the Magpies moving. He's got a loose man on half forward, and it's Christian who's come up from the back line. See if Michael Christian can score a major. He goes into the pocket for Taylor. Got 2 to beat. Back for Starcevic. This will go close. It's done more than that. It's there. Craig Starcevic. His first goal, and it's the 2nd of the quarter for Collingwood, while Melbourne have added 4.
Yes, Brian Taylor had front position, nice little chip pass, but a great snap from Craig Starcevic. Gives them some hope, but they're so far behind they have to lift all over the ground, and they're just still playing stop-start football. They haven't been able to run because Melbourne are putting so much pressure on them.
2 goals for Collingwood in 24 minutes of play in this 3rd quarter. That's all. Turner's been beaten by Wilson, the centre. Wilson, Melbourne, Turner for Collingwood, of course, and Stephen Stretch, a good match from him. Right out to Williams. Rosonico with better balance there, has won that ball well. Kicks it back into Ryan. Manson said leave it. Oh, Yates. Oh, crunch Grinter. He met him head on. Good chest-to-chest job. I don't know why Grinter's got that kick. Maybe it's an unfair tackle. Who's down?
Well,
Turner.
Yates was down, but he's up. Yeah. Turner not.
There's Turner down in the centre of the ground. Looks like he's in trouble.
And Melbourne with the kick. Yes, Melbourne's Turner, not Collingwood's Turner. Melbourne with the kick.
Dean it is.
He doesn't look crash hot, does he?
He was winded in the second quarter. And there's another one feeling the effects. Yates, who was met heavily. And I think perhaps umpires waiting for this Melbourne player Turner to be stretchered off.
There's three of them out there really out of puff. Three Melbourne players. Oh, righty.
Leg injury of some description. So that's bad luck for Steve Turner. Started the game on interchange. So don't know whether that little signal with the finger was whether there's some problem with the hand, or he's just signalling to the doctor how his ankle or something went. Ankle or knee. So he can't make it off under his own steam, so Steve Turner stretchered off for Melbourne. One of the less pleasing aspects for them today. And a very fine performance. Not over yet, of course, but as we head towards three-quarter time, they're 52 points up. And Big O'Dwyer comes back onto the ground, and Warren Dean will eventually have the shot for goal. Inside 50. Let's kick one for the afternoon. Two now. That's a towering kick from Dean. The weight didn't put him off. And Melbourne going from strength to strength.
5 goals for the quarter.
Yeah, certainly Warren Dean is one of the many promising young players that Melbourne have got. Gary Lyon in the half-forward line, Dean. These players give them a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of young ability, which is going to get better in the next couple of years.
Melbourne leading by 58 points, almost at the end of the third quarter, as Manson wins in that ruck, and Melbourne Rover Batterson boots it down. Giles is the target. Oh, lovely. Too good for Kroll. More experienced player anyway is Peter Giles. Been around for a while. Had his share of injuries as well. Played back line and forward line. This is his 9th kick. Melbourne leading by 58 points. And that's not a bad kick either. About 10 metres short. Oh, Sean White pushed someone in the back, and I think Dennis Banks will be happy to take that kick, which he does.
They've gone up the members' wing on every occasion in this quarter, Collingwood, and they've done it again to Turner. Around Johnson. Ryan now. He's going to be cut down here by Johnson, who's very quick, but gets the kick in time, only as far as Yates. So he's recovered from a winding as he goes backwards to Payne. He chips the little pass to Stretch. Oh, they're running everywhere. Hughes from full back, he's up on the wing. He could go right up to the goal square. He's done that with a huge kick. Big pack. Banks this time got in with a push. Fed out only as far as O'Dwyer. He's knocked to the ground. Rosonico for Collingwood clears it to the wing, looking and finding Morwood. Umpire doesn't pay it. Turner tries to fend off Johnson, and I think he'll be penalised. He is. And Alan Johnson to take the free kick, number 9 for Melbourne.
Nothing going right for Collingwood. That's what's happened when you're second to the ball and you're not running. Johnson into Stretch in the centre, and then he goes out to the wing position. Oops. Here's Brett Bailey struggling away there. Holding the ball. No,
other way.
Right.
Yes, very lucky. Melbourne a bit too confident. Chain of hand passes, a couple of them unnecessary. A long shot, just off target.
What can Collingwood do? They can only keep trying. Ryan. Mullane going past him on the inside. He goes instead to Gafer. Back to Ryan. Drives over the centre. All Melbourne here. Spalding loses it. Wilson didn't have it bounce kindly for him. He catches Christian though, and it's holding the ball against the big Collingwood block. Brian Wilson out to that wing which is totally devoid of Collingwood players. Stretch. Pass on for Dean. He's got Lyon if he wants to use him. Goes with the foot instead. That's a beautiful kick, but to all Collingwood back there. In fact, too long was the kick, and it's Banks. Collingwood going up this side again, and Brown is found.
Brown is found, and across to Gaffer. Oh, nicely. And the pass, yep, up to Bradbury. Knocked down by Christian. Another attempt, but knocked by Christian. That's better. Across to Starcevich. Kick it! Oh, he did. The stab pass or stab punt to Danny Hughes. And he plays around. He's got an army of his mates around on the half-back flank. Careful, you'll lose it. Johnson to Batterston. Now it's Wilson. Trying to be a bit of a flash, Dan. Oh, that's all right, Brian. Yates, a good third quarter. Higher in time. The Demons lead 15-17, 107. The Collingwood 7-6, 48.
Giles and Mullane. More of the same from Melbourne, or a Collingwood revival? Well, that's the task in front of the Magpies. 59 points down at three-quarter time. It's Melbourne, a commanding lead going from left to right as we start this last term. O'Dwyer comes in against Manson and beats him. Driven towards a half-forward flank. Collingwood leading in the race through Morewood. Batterson pressuring him. A real race between these two to get the lungs working early in the quarter. A throw in. Right in front of the Collingwood interchange bench. And Brian Cloak cooling his heels there.
Free kick against Manson's. Giving away a couple today. O'Dwyer, the big Melbourne ruckman, takes it. Awkward kick, but effective anyway. Whoops, here's Sparks for Melbourne. Fresh on. Number 42. Mullane with a nice piece of football here. Oh, buries it in the chest of Kroll. And then into the centre. Well, that's not good play. There's too many Demons there, but it doesn't matter. Tony short at Bryant. Then down to full forward, sun in the eyes. Brian Taylor with Hughes right with him. Nice play, Taylor. He came out the back, he played it well. Just spooned it out, but the Demons take the free kick.
Paul Payne towards Wilson. Highest possession winner on the ground. Grinter along the wing. Beautiful pass to Batterson. Batterson really come into it in the second half. Wilson's gone past. He's kept running and got the ball back. Pressured by Bradbury. Oh, breaks the tackle with ease. Around Kroll. Gives it to Sparks. High up to the edge of the square. Wight tries to tap it on for a teammate. That teammate is Giles. Giles couldn't get the slipper to it. And a free kick, I think, to Rosonico. Yes, it's been paid. Rosonico in the last line of defence for Collingwood. No score yet in this last quarter.
Melbourne lead 107 to Collingwood's 48 as Rosonico's kick was meant for Jamie Turner. But Alan Johnson from Melbourne was there and he's thumped the ball over the line, and there's a pretty serious injury, you would think, wouldn't you, with a knee anyway. Let's hope it's not too bad. That's young Steve Turner for Melbourne.
Tap down towards Sparks, other interchange player. Gaffer for Collingwood. Front position again with the Demons. It was Bailey who then kicked it off the ground cleverly to Healy. Collingwood get it to the middle. Being held, he still took the mark, Warren Dean. Torpedo punt, 75, 80 metres. What a monster of a kick taken by Banks of Collingwood. Just kept going, that roost, as Mullane gets going along that outer wing. The pass, not a good one. Lets in Lyon. Oh, looked up beautifully. Taylor, too easy. Took it too easily. Brown got it across to Bradbury. He gets it to Ryan. Ryan in turn to Turner, and Collingwood out of trouble. Starcevic rather. Oh, Atkins put down by a stretch, and a chance for Danny Hughes now. Got a bit more pace than Brian Taylor. He's still padding along in front. Good play, Taylor, to make up ground, and Keys a chance to goal. Behind. Looked good, but Brian Taylor did everything right, as a big man should then. But Keys couldn't kick the goal. First score of the quarter. Collingwood behind as O'Dwyer is found by Hughes. Half-back flank. high kick to the wing. Little shove there. Free kick has been spotted. Perhaps that whistle was from the crowd. There's Christian, a little slow. Johnson pulled off it when he didn't have it, and Alan Johnson will get the free. Twelfth kick coming up for Johnson. Dean makes position for him. Another huge torpedo punt in the Dean direction. Good defence from the Magpies. Turner did that well. Breaks 2 tackles. Through the gap. Feeds it across to Kroll. Wouldn't bounce up for him. Onto the right boot. Jason Kroll caught by the trunks. Puts it out on the full. That was a ricochet over.
I think the latter.
So throw in just into Collingwood's attacking half.
Final turn, just into it, 107-49. The Demons in front, and I've been there all day. Manson wins a tap. Collingwood sees it over.
John, I don't think this game will go down in the annals as one of the great Melbourne-Collingwood clashes.
No, it certainly will not, but I'm sure the Melbourne supporters won't mind that. They badly need this win. They've had a very torrid month with the night premiership, just going down in Carrara to the Bears, some other good wins, but the last month they've had a very good lot of good results for Melbourne. Today is no exception.
Manson against O'Dwyer. Knock on from Batterson. Number 17 for Collingwood is Lockman. Gets some support from Turner. He hasn't given up trying all day. Straight to Dean though. Left foot kicks a beauty towards half forward. Completes the whole pack. Wilson runs into the open goal. Draws the man in the square on his own as Williams has a look around and bangs it through. First for Williams. And no celebrations. Well, not on the field. It's just too easy for the Demons.
Who said Brian Wilson was selfish?
He thought about having a shot, I think.
I think if he hadn't have hand passed that, he would have had a lot of criticism from John Northey. He broke clear, had a look around, drew the man to him, which was great. But certainly, this has been the stamp of Melbourne today. Collingwood, the lack of pace early in Melbourne's running has created a lot of those opportunities all day.
Brian Wilson, one of Melbourne's best, has just given Williams a goal. It was a good piece of play by Wilson. And the Demons into attack once more. Kroll, Tony Shaw. Grinter. It's a tough man, Grinter and Danny Hughes. And Stretch have had a field day on the back line. And down to Giles. Pushing the back against Giles to Mullane, and the Collingwood man who's really had a struggle on all day, played on forward and back, takes the kick at half-back flank, and it's his 19th kick.
14th. I don't think another 5 would have made any difference, though, for Collingwood, as Payne flew high, then throws himself back into the pack, comes out to Spalding. He's got some pace, gets away from Ryan. The kick, not so good, favours Collingwood's Lockman. Lockman, centre for the Maggies. We've got the break on here. Taylor goes down. Hughes was checking him very closely and will be penalised. Crowd don't like it, but I think it was there. BT says, I've got one for the afternoon.
Yes, at least he had front position.
Was the difference as he goes into the pocket for Christian. I think he's better shooting for goal than trying to pass.
Yes, but it's typical that Collingwood are sort of desperate, under pressure, and you're getting forced wider and wider. And when you have to look for lead, pinpoint leads in the pockets, it means you're in trouble.
O'Dwyer. And again O'Dwyer. And Morwood, Tony Shaw, beaten here by Bailey. Good play here, the big fellow. Christian. All start. Starcevic was pinned. He had no chance of getting away with it.
A very strong tackle by Hughes.
And it's a free kick to Hughes. He was well rewarded.
You don't get away with much with this bloke. 11th kick coming up for Hughes. Hasn't done a thing wrong all day. Perhaps all season so far, as he kicks towards Healy. Knocked to the ground from Giles. Is only as far as Ryan. Gives it to Turner. Kicks towards half forward, 2 against 1. Behind the pack, all Demons. Spalding. Pressured by Atkins, and that's allowed the ball to fall for Christian. Keeps running Spalding, and Christian did that very well. The dummy handball, and the pass finds Brown. On 50 metres, too far out to score. Centres looking for Keys, but he's outmarked by Dean. No play on the call. And the bounce 40 metres out from the Magpie goal, and the young Demon fans not too concerned. Their team lead by 64 points. We've played 9 minutes into the last quarter.
And Collingwood's half forward line. Brown for Collingwood, Orwith for Collingwood. Spoons it out to Crowell, to Ryan. He's kicked 3 goals in the second quarter. Up to Taylor, big strength man here. Owen Yates coming in, Taylor's still in there using those big arms and body, and he won't give up. He's using arms and body right now. Something sparked him off. The notebook's coming out leisurely, and oh, wow. Oh.
Well, this might develop into something that's not very funny, but
you notice how the umpires are standing off. They're not going in pulling players around. They've learnt their lesson of this. You don't put a hand on the player. And now on this,
well, this is very reminiscent of the game at VFL Park when Taylor put on a stoush. But it seemed too late to make a difference here. Brian Taylor, we thought was about to be reported. The umpire hasn't taken. Did he actually write anything in the book? He took it out. I can't see he would have had time to have written anything. He's put it away, I think.
Yeah, well, it looked like it's not in the book. The new thing, Pin didn't write.
Oh, well, it might be now.
Oh.
And a frustrated man is Brian Taylor. And he's wearing one too. This two delivered it first. Probably immaterial. Meanwhile, the football's going on, would you believe? Back up on the half forward line for the Demons, but not for long. Rosonico for Collingwood. Up high! Not quite held by Spalding. Flicks it back between his legs, only as far as Turner for Collingwood. Towards Ryan. Into the pocket. Now it's in the Hughes-Taylor direction. Taylor lines up Hughes. It's on again. And I think Hughes might get the free kick. John, would you take Taylor off in case he does something really stupid?
Yes, I think if I was Matthews, I'd take him off. He's lost his cool. He's so frustrated, been out of form, and I think it's just so dangerous for a while. He can get himself into so much trouble.
Well, the Melbourne runner has been out to have a talk to Danny Hughes. It's Brian Taylor's opponent, and part of the fracas. O'Dwyer tried to whip one over the back then. Greg Healy's gone well out of the game since his brilliant first half. The damage was done. An eye on Taylor and Hughes, and Brian Taylor's really wearing the worse for wear at the moment, with some blood coming down from, I think it's from his forehead or the top of his nose.
Well, his shorts nearly had to be surgically removed from him there. Had what used to happen at school, used to call them wedgies.
Wedgies, is it?
Yeah. Oh. I won't go into the details, they're pretty sordid. But there's the kick forward from Manson. The mark taken by Starcevic. Craig Starcevic just forward of the centre. 15-metre penalty. Starcevic goes in the Taylor direction. He's got the mark.
He hasn't kicked the goal. I'm just wondering, well, there's a Collingwood fan who still loves him, but I'm wondering if this is going to spark him on to kick a goal.
Well, I certainly hope it does, because Brian Taylor is very important for Collingwood to have a spearhead to kick to. But not this time. It's Brian Taylor's third consecutive behind.
Well, that's been the one thing to cheer about in this last term, the Hughes-Taylor battle. 63-point leaders are the Demons. O'Dwyer over there towards Sparks. It's been manhandled by Gaither. O'Dwyer will take the free kick.
Played pretty well. He's had a bigger leap than Cloak in the early stages. Cloak did a lot of heavy work out there nevertheless. O'Dwyer's just learning the game. Here's Dean. He's had a good match, right? Geez, a handy player to have on that full line. Tall and quick. Hands it well. Giles. Collingwood with a chance now. Brown kicks him into the centre and right into the arms of Yates, which was poor thinking, really. And Melbourne are making the most of it. They haven't made too many mistakes at all today. And that kick goes straight to Collingwood's captain. So they have made a mistake.
Sure. Rosonico to the wing. Front position. Christian, fine mark. Used his body well. Spalding trying to lean over him to knock it away. Christian into the middle. Brown for Collingwood, told to go long. He goes out towards Taylor again. Does he leave it for Manson? They spoil one another. Tackle on Hughes from Taylor. Meanwhile, Collingwood have a chance. Ryan goes for number 5 and gets it. Ryan, 5 goals out of 8 for the Magpies. And something to cheer about from black and white supporters at last.
Yes, 15 minutes in the last quarter. Matt Ryan kicking their first goal for the last quarter. It's been their most dangerous player with Darren Mullane all day, and probably have been let down badly by their senior players.
Right, John, he has been a dangerous player. He's only one of the small players as well. And the senior players are limping. This is Lockman for the Pies, who kicks to open territory there. Tony Shaw runs after it. Leg spin on it. Turner comes in and takes it. Nice pass to Taylor. Bogie has very, very strong hands, and full credit to Brian Taylor after he really shot his bolt and was thumping and pushing. He's a powerful man, but he's cooled down. And he's taken a couple of very, very strong marks today. It's his 5th mark. This will be his 6th kick. Can't kick a goal. He's kicked 3 behinds. And at last, 16 minutes into the final term, Taylor's kicked his first goal.
Well, I mentioned that game at AFL Park against Richmond earlier. It signalled the massive turnaround in the game. Collingwood have kicked 2 goals after the Taylor-initiated fight, but it would seem only half a quarter to go. It was a bit late. But he seems to ginger himself up, and perhaps Hughes has lost a little bit. He's been behind on the last 2 occasions when he hasn't let whatever full forward's been on him a thing all day. As O'Dwyer knocks it forward, Rosonico. Left handball, right handball, decides to kick instead. And there's Atkins. 50 metres out. Goes long. Hughes knocks the ball away from Christian. Throw in forward pocket for Collingwood.
.51 lead to Melbourne. Collingwood just got 6 points back from the top goal from Brian Taylor. And here's Atkins again. Didn't have the football. Starcevic boots it over his shoulder. Ooh. Against Grinter for Taylor, and Hughes flew from the back, but it was against Grinter. But maybe Brian Taylor can kick a few more goals before this quarter's out. 17 3/4 minutes in, and 51 points behind. I think it might be a hopeless task, Peter. We've had our money on Melbourne, I think. Lays back, very strong, positive kick, and strange sort of a sign he's given there. It's his 2nd goal.
Crowd roared. Didn't know what that was about. Gee, if anything, it looked against Taylor. Ran straight into the back of Grinter.
Yes, Grinter. I think Grinter was shepherding. There was the correct decision because Grinter knew that Hughes was coming over the back, so he blocked Taylor, and it was a correct decision. But Taylor ran down the field just to let Grinter know it was a silly free kick.
45-point leaders are the Demons. O'Dwyer's tap falls the way of Brown. Kicks long and finds teammate Christian. Half forward for Christian. Lead into the pocket from Taylor. Hughes takes it over. Oh, little push there. He's been penalised. Yes, dangerous play. I don't think he went through with the push though, just a little shove, as he knew it was close to the fence, but it was enough. So 15 metres against Taylor now, and Hughes has the kick.
Down to O'Dwyer, the big ruckman. He came out of it all right. He went for the mark and then thumped it away. It was on a go for Collingwood. Good mark of Tony Shaw. Clever one, that one. It's a short man there, but he used his body well. And Paul Moore runs into the scene to take the handball on the half-forward flank. And again to Taylor. He nearly had it. He's got 2 to fly against each time he goes, but here's a chance for Collingwood again. Starcevic is the man who said that once Taylor set it up. And that's his second goal for the half-forward, number 27.
Yeah, certainly. I think it may have activated Collingwood. You see the hand pass from Keys to Starcevic. Great snap. 4 goals at the 20-minute mark of the last quarter. 4 goals Collingwood, and certainly it's given them a bit of heart. 4 goals in the last 5 minutes.
And the crowd really getting behind them. You have to think they don't have enough time. The Magpie fans, though, live on optimism as the kick from Johnson to the wing. All of a sudden, there's Magpie players there helping one another out. Good tap off the ground from Kroll to Ryan. Away from Lyon. His handball put Morwood under pressure, but look, there they are in numbers again. Manson out to Kroll in the middle. Turner on his own. Kicks long. 1-out duel. Taylor against Hughes. Taylor front position. Does it well. Can't quite break away. This snap. Across the face and doesn't score. But we wouldn't have given him a hope half a quarter ago to end up with the ball there.
Well, certainly Melbourne have got a bit overconfident, and they've stopped running and stopped chasing, taking risks, and Collingwood have lifted. And at this stage, even though it's so late in the game, it's an interesting game to finish off the last 10 minutes. Play on, the umpire's call.
Yes, and O'Dwyer wasn't used to it. Now the umpire's going now. He's going to call for a footballer. Well, really, O'Dwyer was caught unawares, I think, the big Melbourne ruckman.
The ninth ball up for the day.
Is that all right? Straight to Morwood. Then on to Tony Shaw. Taylor! Now, Danny Hughes has given up on Taylor since I think Taylor may have Hughes worried. Unless Hughes said, well, we're so far in front it doesn't matter, but he's not playing as tightly as he was.
I think Hughes probably felt being so far in front it wasn't worth getting involved into a dangerous position of getting reported or having problems like that.
Good comment, John. Anyway, Taylor for his 3rd goal in the final term, and he's notched it. So he's gone from boiled lollies to chocolates. We don't know whether he's got his name in the book.
Well, certainly Brian Taylor, 3 marks, 6 kicks, 3 goals in this last quarter.
Lovely kick from Tony Shaw. And Hughes, look, he's given him 4 metres. He never gave him a centimetre all day up until the fight. And the difference is 33 points. Tap one by O'Dwyer, taken by Taylor, who's been missing for about a quarter. Gathered in by Flower, but taken by Banks. Gives it to Mullane. Towards the wing, looking for Kroll. Arriving there was Dean to knock it over, and he's penalised into the back of Kroll. Wilson in the foreground on the mark. Kroll leaves him standing. Jason Kroll kicks over the centre wing, looking for Manson. Knocked to ground by O'Dwyer. Feeds the handball out for Spalding. To the centre, all Collingwood. Lachlan caught well by Healy, but still gets the kick away. Good gather by Christian, almost got it near the ankles, but couldn't. O'Dwyer gives it back to Yates at a standing start. High to the wing, and Williams.
Good player, quick thinking by Williams. His line ran into position, and now it's Alan Johnson. Oh, he missed this, but you get a chance. And the umpire's blown the whistle. It's a free kick going to Johnson. What was that?
It was a relayed free kick.
Relayed free kick. Thank you, John. That's his 14th kick. Down to Giles. Melbourne player Robbie Flowers pushed down before the ball was anywhere near 10-15 metres. And the Melbourne most lovable character trots back point-blank range. Collingwood were running hot, by the way, with 4 goals in 5 minutes after the fight involving Brian Taylor. But Robbie Flower has kicked 5 goals. And his accuracy has been there all day. 6 goals to Flower. A top performance in his comeback game after breaking his thumb. Another serious injury amongst the many he suffered in his long career.
Well, certainly the free kicks are interesting at this stage. Melbourne have received 32 for the game against Collingwood's 23, but Melbourne have received 11 free kicks this quarter.
Not much doubt about that one.
That one he certainly deserved.
So a bit of sanity brought back into proceedings by that Melbourne goal. 39-point leaders of the Demons. We're into time on by 10 seconds. O'Dwyer's dominated in the ruck. Lyon, number 3 for Melbourne. Beaten by Rosonico. Coming through Batterson. Goes loose to Bailey. He feeds it on for Dean. He's pretty deadly, this man. Not on this occasion, though. Swinging it across for a behind. 40 points separate the sides at the 25.5-minute mark.
Wondering what Lee Matthews will have to say to the players when he gets them in the rooms afterwards, because I think Collingwood prefer to play on a bigger ground. Kick booms in up to Mullane. Spills. Lockman can't handle it. Good play there by Manson. Good scouting by Melbourne's Batterson. Into Williams. It's Tony Shaw. He has a runner there in Dennis Banks. And he comes in towards Matt Ryan, who judged that bounce brilliantly. The little fella's run from the half-back. He's on the half-forward line now as he lets it go. Taylor and Hughes. Shot through their hands. And it's out of play.
Beautiful fist from Grinter. And hitting the behind post, so that means a throw-in. 32 for the Demons is O'Dwyer. He wins the tap the second time, straight down Batterson's throat. All on his own over there is Dean. Goes long to the wing. Looking for Lyon. Manson up too early, allowed Lockman to mark. He played on. Johnson. Caught well by Turner. No chance to get rid of it, says the umpire, so a bounce just forward of the centre for Melbourne. Seagulls starting to swing in here at the cricket ground. Vultures over the Magpie really today. They have put up a bit of a fight in this quarter in all senses of the word, as Morwood wrestles it out of the pack. Undecided. Goes towards half forward. Behind the back of the pack, the pace is with the Demon. It's Payne. Hughes' kick to the wing. Nice bounce there for Dean. Did that nicely to Yates. He's got Johnson loose towards half forward. Collingwood in the van here, and the mark taken by Banks.
Useful player, very quick, very clean, crisp player. Kick towards the half forward line. Starcevic. It's a long kick. Taylor again at Hughes. Shoulder to shoulder. Oh. Now the books it. Oh. Making up for that.
Yes, both umpires, central umpire and boundary umpire, are both reporting.
Well, here it is again.
He was retaliating to Hughes, who tried to knock it away, but there was no excusing that.
And he couldn't take the kick. Danny Hughes, with a lot of courage, just trotted off the mark after handballing, but I feel that he'd be feeling a bit...
Well, it's with time on being called. We won't be able to start it until the umpire signals time to start again.
And now Danny Hughes is going to take the free kick.
15th kick for Hughes to the wing. Manson couldn't quite get it. Staying down, Yates towards half forward. Grinter wrestling. Flower arrives. Lachlan. Lyon meets him. Flower fends off beautifully. The handball though intercepted. Back to Lyon. Very quick. Little low kick. Allows Healy in. Banks has manhandled Grinter, or vice versa. In fact, it is. So it's Banks will take the free kick.
A little bit of finesse there. Well, a lot of finesse here. I don't know what's going to happen, Brooke. Gopher. Oh, dear, oh, dear. And now Melbourne on pouncing here and kick a goal. Johnson has it. 40 metres out. And that's it. Well, there's a lesson learned there, Collingwood players, featuring Banks. Gopher, particularly Gopher. And Johnson's kicked a goal.
He'd want to be a gopher now, I think, and bury himself.
Rather shocking error.
Yeah, certainly frustration. When frustration sets in at this time of a game, you can do things which you don't normally do, and the Collingwood players were just lost as to what to do.
Bradbury despairing as it drops over the line to give the Demons a 46-point lead after Collingwood had got back to within 33 points. Knock away. It's good defence by Grinter. That was stretch, in fact. Sparks gets it across there to Wilson. It's all over at the MCG. And Melbourne deserved winners. There was a bit to cheer about that last term after it seemed all over at three-quarter time. 59-point leaders then were Melbourne. Collingwood got back to within 33, but the Demons have weathered the storm, and Robbie Flower, a very happy skipper, kicked 6 goals in their 46-point victory. Wight kicked 3,